Hello, everyone. Welcome to MFSN, the hub. We are here to talk about handicapping the Kentucky Derby. The Triple Crown begins now, and I am here. I am joined by Al Martin. He's a legendary handicapper from the East Coast. He's into comedy too, but that's secondary to his horse racing skills. Not racing, but picking. Ross the Boss, on the other hand, is a comedy expert from LA who also has tremendous picking skills. I've learned this with football, but he also has it with horse racing. And so, guys, we're going to talk about the odds. We're going to talk about the post positions, and then you guys are going to make your picks. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk about each horse. First of all, before we even talk about the horses, let's talk about how the post positions are determined and who you think got a raw deal. Al, let's start with you.
Well, it looks like definitely the favorite is out there. The 14 horse, Essential Quality, I think. I think you got a couple of favorites out there, or a couple of the betting choices out there. It looks like Highly Motivated might be out there. So I think it's going to have an impact. That's a very crowded field. Churchill Downs.
Al, we can't hear you. Wait, we didn't hear that. You said Churchill Downs and then nothing.
Yeah, Churchill Downs tends to favor the speed or close to the pace. And if you don't get out well, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
So is Known Agenda in trouble getting the rail?
Well, my feeling about you want my thoughts on the horse overall. This is a Florida Derby Grade 1 winner. He has a good stalking and speed style, so he should be pretty close to the pace in the race. And, of course, you can never sell short Todd Fletcher in these kind of races. The only thing is I'm not sure if he's got the class, really, because even though he won the Derby, Florida Derby Grade 1, I'm not sure how the level of competition was. And I think he was racing in a claim or two back.
Listen to this guy is just a legend. He knows exactly what he's talking about. Ross, let's turn to you. We'll start with Known Agenda since we're already on.
The Known Agenda, Fletcher, two-time winner of the Kentucky Derby. And the jockey is Ortiz, who's the hottest jockey in the country right now. So they have a great connection there. It's unbelievable. This horse is 6-1, has the rail. I don't like the rail in Churchill Downs. It's a horrible position to have. But his sire is Carlin. I love Carlin. That's one of my favorite horses of all time. So long story short, I don't love that horse that much. I'm going to move on.
All right, let's talk about Essential Quality. He's the favorite in this race. Ross, we'll start with you this time. Tell us about Essential Quality, how you're thinking.
Essential Quality, it has the 14th spot. We're kind of moving around a little bit, but the 14th spot's only won twice in Kentucky Derby history. Twice out of over 100 times, over 150, 60 times. So the odds of winning on the 14th spot are very low. This horse is one of these horses that's unbeaten. It's never lost. It's 2-1 though. I don't like the value of that horse. I feel the horse is a monster, but when we get into our bets, I'm not going to be like in love with it like I should be, but it's 2-1. And I feel there's a lot of other classy horses that can beat it.
All right, Al, let's hear from you on that, and then we'll go down the post positions in order.
I got to be honest with you. A lot of this, I agree with the boss, so we can save time for other horses and picks. Third off the layoff, always a very big type of angle that you want to look for on Essential Quality. Moves to the outside. I'm not crazy about a 2-1 favorite in the Derby, as good as this horse is from the 14 post.
All right, good to know. Now, moving down the post, we had Known Agenda at the first post. The second one is Like the King. Al, we'll start with you on Like the King.
Like the King, another one with the third off the layoff angle, which is always the situation where they're approaching their best cycle. And I don't think the class quite suits here. The buyer numbers are a little low on the horse. 50-1 morning line, and I can see why.
Ross?
The horse has done nothing on the dirt. I mean, the horse has done nothing on the dirt. I'm throwing the horse out. Let's move on.
Wow, throwing the horse under the bus. All right, we're gonna go with Brooklyn Strong. Ross, we'll start with you on this one at post.
So this is a great story for the Derby. The jockey is just a young Italian kid named Roberto Apollo. I think I'm not quite sure how to say his. I'm not Italian is awful, but his name's Umberto Imbarlo. He actually was on The Favorite. He won the Santa Anita Derby with one of the favorites. Rock the World, actually. He wasn't the favorite, his second favorite. And they took him off that horse. They took him off it, and they put the best jockey at Santa Anita on it, Rosario. And he was crying. I mean, he was so upset. He thought he was going to ride the Kentucky Derby with Rock the World. And he did not get that mount. He's riding this horse now. This Brooklyn Strong, it was claimed. I mean, this horse should not be in the race. I mean, it's 50-1. It's a last hour entry in the Kentucky Derby. I'm throwing that horse out too, but I love the story how the jockey got thrown out and he's riding this one now. He could be really motivated. I'm sure he's really upset still.
All right, Al, you jump in.
Real quick, I love the name. That's where I'm from. But to be honest with you, horse's only good, strong buyer number came in the slop in the Remsen grade 2 back. Everything else, he's been in the 70s, 80s. Doesn't belong with these.
Now, listen, I just want to say, you guys are legends at this. When I hear you talk like this, Al, it's like you're talking Chinese. It's amazing. But I'm going to trust you on it. We're going to go with the 4-post. We'll go to Al, and then Ross, you just jump right in when he's done. We're going keep me in mind.
Keep me in mind. Another 1/3 off the layoff. He's been beaten by most of these. He has a bullet work, 5 furlongs in a minute, less than a minute, 59 seconds. Another one on March 27th for a minute. Has a little bit of an angle with the blinkers off. I think the buyers are weak. I don't think he quite gets there on the class.
50-1 shot, mediocre in the bluegrass. I do like his jockey, David Cohen, for obvious reasons, but I'm throwing the horse out.
All right, let's go to Sainthood, Ross. You start us off, and Al, you jump right in after he's done.
Sainthood, another Todd Fletcher. I mean, I think he has like 5 or 6 horses in the Derby. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. But Todd, I mean, this another horse, 50-1. He broke his maiden at Churchill Downs. Barely won his maiden. The horse is really outclassed. I'm throwing the horse out.
I agree. Outclassed. Coming off a synthetic racetrack. Buyers, again, in the 70s and the 80s. Love the trainer, but I'm a hard pass.
All right, now you guys are the experts. So, Al, we're going to start with you here, and I need to know, is it obesus or zero besus?
It's obesus. And you know what obesus means in Portuguese?
No.
It means kisses.
Oh, good knowledge, Ross. All right, Al.
Let me go first real quick.
You go first since you have that knowledge.
This horse is getting a lot of action. A lot of the wise guys in New York, where Al Martin's from, and he knows these wise guys, are betting this horse. This horse right now is 30-1. I'm sure Al's going to be betting it. He knows some of those guys. Trust me. This horse, it ran in the Louisiana Derby. It ran a great race. It's peaking at the right time. I like this horse as a long shot, and I'll tell you how I'm betting it when it comes to to our bets at the end. But keep this horse in mind. I like the connections, and I like everything else about it.
All right, Al.
Yep, real quick, big improvement in his last race in the Louisiana Derby. He finally popped into the 90s on a buyer, a 96 buyer. My concern with the horse is he's going to be a little bit off this pace. And while there is speed here, this track does not really, this race is not big on far from behind.
It'll be running late, Al. This horse will be running late, and you'll be wishing you bet it when you watch the end of the race. We'll see what happens.
All right, listen, if that horse wins, they're going to rename him Jesus Christ. Okay, now we've got Mandolin coming up. Al, you start us off on Mandolin. Ross, you jump in.
Mandolin is another one of a few here coming off that Louisiana Derby race on March 20th. A little bit off on his buyer there. Before that, he was doing quite well. But I'm concerned, his worst race here really was at 1 mile and 3/16. He picks up another 16th of a mile. The big question is, can he get the distance?
Brad Cox, legendary trainer out of Churchill Downs. He's unbelievable. He flopped in Louisiana Derby. Anytime a horse has a prep race before the Derby and doesn't finish in the top 4, the odds are of him winning the Derby. It's only like 3 horses ever done that. Like Big Brown. It's been a Justifies one of them too. But that all being said, I'm throwing that horse out.
All right. Wow. 15-1 odds throwing him out. Okay. Medina Spirit. Ross, we're going to start with you.
Bob Baffert, legendary trainer. I never, ever exclude Bob Baffert from the winner's circle. He's unbelievable. Vasquez is the jockey. He's great. This horse never finished worse than second. Never finished worse than second. Al Martin, that's unbelievable. In 5 starts, Al Martin.
He's going to be close to the pace.
He finished second in the Santa Anita Derby. I love the connections. I love Baffert. I'm going to think about this horse in the betting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think you got to keep Medina Spirit in there, especially at 15-1. He's got Baffert. He's got good speeds. He's going to be close to the pace this race. And the buyers are right there in the mid to high 90s. So, this horse and the incredible workouts. I'm not sure if Ross mentioned it. This horse has got like 3 or 4 really good workouts the last few times.
I saw that.
Definitely training sharp.
All right, let's move on to Hot Rod Charlie. Al, you get us started.
Well, this is my horse that I like this race. Hot Rod Charlie. I think you're going to get a price on this horse. Look at those buyers. Look at first of all, third off the layoff. Look at the form he's coming into. A 99 buyer in the Louisiana Derby. He's going to be close to the pace. He wired them last time. This horse is going to be a lot of trouble this race. And he's showing morning line 8-1 odds. I think there's good value there.
I love Doug O'Neill. I know he cheats once in a while, but everybody cheats, I guess, in horse racing. Flavio Pratt, great jockey. Looked unbelievable at the Louisiana Derby, like you mentioned. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he looked unbelievable. This horse at 8-1 is the best value bet in the Derby. And because he's the pride of the West Coast, you kind of know who Ross the Boss likes. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. West Coast bias. Okay, we'll go to Midnight Bourbon, one of 2 horses with Bourbon in the name. We'll get to the other later. We're going to start with Ross. We got a double Bourbon going.
Steve Almason is the trainer. The jockey, Hall of Fame jockey, Mike Smith. You know how much money Al Martin's won on Mike Smith in his life? Millions. Unbelievable. Al Martin loves Mike Smith. I can't throw Mike Smith out of this. I can't do it. So this horse is 15-1, came in second in the Louisiana Derby, has a lot of early speed. I want to throw it out, but I kind of don't. So we'll talk about it.
Slight correction. He's 20-1.
20-1. There you go. The odds went up.
Yep.
21 back-to-back strong races in Louisiana. 96 and 96 on the buyers. This horse is in good form right now, and definitely with Smith riding, I wouldn't throw him out.
Okay, we've got Dynamic One coming up. Al, you get us started. 20-1 odds.
Dynamic One, yes. Dynamic One is taking the New York route to the Derby. Last race at 1 1/8, Wood Memorial, 89 buyer. Buyers 70s, 80s. We're looking at horses in this race with buyers in the mid 90s, high 90s. I just don't think he's there class-wise. He only has the 1 stake race last time, so I think he needs more seasoning.
Ross?
Todd Fletcher, another Todd Fletcher horse. I'll say it every time he has a horse, just to let you guys know how many horses this guy has. Jose Ortiz, I like a lot, but the horse is outclassed. The Wood Memorial was a horrible race. The competition was a joke. I think I could have ran that race and beat those horses. It was that bad. But that all being said, I'm throwing that horse out.
Okay, next we have Helium. I feel like I need to say it in this voice. All right, Al.
Helium, unbeaten in 3 races. Unbeaten. But the bad news is only 3 horses have won the Derby with less than 3 races. So Helium, I love the name. I love the idea. 30-1, I'm throwing it out.
I'm right there with you, Ross. 2 races on the synthetic turf over at Woodbine. At only 7 furlongs. Then they finally, after a 5-month layoff, brought him back. at 1.16 miles. Broke pretty bad from the outside, but really made up the ground. But I don't know any horses that get to the Derby and win it from Tampa Bay, So
Tampa Bay.
yeah, I think I'm going to leave Tampa Bay for football, right?
And hockey.
And hockey.
Once again, you guys are showing your prowess in this. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm setting you up for it. Now we got Hidden Stash is next. Al, you get us started. Ross, you jump right in.
Hidden Stash, again, another one who had his first 2 races of the year from Tampa. Finally made it to Keeneland in the Bluegrass Stakes. I think he's going to be too far off the pace, looking at the way he runs. His running style is way back. I don't like that style in a crowded Derby field. Too much can go wrong. He hasn't topped 90 once on the buyer ratings. Has a couple of grade 2 stakes races. He had a second 2-back at Tampa Bay. So I think I'm going to pass on him.
Vicki Lawrence is the trainer. Only 17 women have trained Kentucky Derby horses. She's one of them. I don't think the horse has a shot, like Al said. It's not a good closer. It's not a good finisher. Let's throw it out.
All right. Essential Quality, Ross. Get us started.
We talked about it. Brad Cox is the trainer. Who's the hometown hero there. I don't think a trainer. I don't know if a trainer that actually lives in Louisville won the Kentucky Derby. I have to look that up, Al. But Brad Cox, everybody's rooting for this guy. We all love him. As we mentioned, this horse is a monster. It's going to be 2-1. It looked great at the Bluegrass. I mean, I don't know what the buyer was. That'd be over close to 100. But, I mean, this horse is for real. And it wins in every type of situation. Sloppy, fast, firm. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it wins. And it's unbeaten. So you got to play that horse.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the horse is not a high quality. It certainly is. The problem is going to be what kind of price are you going to get on the horse? So I would just watch the board on this one. I don't think it's going to be any higher than the morning line odds, 2-1 or so. But if it is, you might want to think about the horse. It's all about the value you get on the quality of the horse you're betting. But like Ross said, the horse has it all, wins in every type of situation. 2 grade 1 stakes as last year. Is going to be close to the pace. The only other problem is the post. I don't know if he breaks well enough to get to the front with this post, and that could be problematic trying to weave through the traffic later on.
All right, let's go with Rock Your World. Al, you got us started, and Ross, you jump in.
Well, Rock Your World, California horse. They got all the good ones this year. But last buyer was probably one of the top buyers in the race. He had 100 buyer. He's got the Rosario on him. And grade 1 stakes winning by 4 lengths easy. You can't throw him out. It's going to be on the front end of this. Can he take him wire to wire at 5-1?
All right, Ross.
Well, this horse has never had a horse kick dirt in its face. Never. It's unbeaten. It's always gone wire to wire. The horse is a monster. Rosario, who's the all-world jockey, gets the mount, which is he's great. You know, see how much money Ross the Boss has won on Rosario? Just as much as Al Martin won on Mike Smith. That's how he is. So that being said, I love this horse. I hope the odds go to 7-8-1. We'll see what happens. But let's keep this in mind during the betting.
All right, we've got King Fury. Ross, I want you to get us started. Al, you jump right in.
This horse is like 30-40-1. It had a huge layoff. It was a 2-year-old, great form of 2-year-old. Then they didn't run it for like 8-9 months, and then it came back. It looked okay, looked pretty good in its comeback, but just with the time off and the timing and everything, I don't think the horse is ready to race in this big race.
Yeah, well, King Fury beaten by a lot of the race horses already in this race. His only really powerful race that I see with a 96 buyer came on a sloppy track at Keeneland on April 12th, where he posted a 96 buyer, came off the pace to win the race. He's versatile. He can go to the front, but it looks like he could also keep close to the pace. But I'm very suspicious that this is a mutter, as they say, a mutter.
Okay, Highly Motivated up next. Al, you get us started, and we'll go to Ross.
Highly Motivated again with that angle. Third off the layoff. He's got Castellano on him, a great jockey. Chad Brown certainly a great trainer. Last race at Keeneland against a few of these, popped a 97 buyer. His buyers in his last 3 races actually have been consistently in the 90s. He went from a mile to a mile and an eighth. Can he get the mile and a quarter on the front with some other speed horses? I'm not sure.
Chad Brown is a trainer, never won the Derby, Hall of Fame trainer, unbelievable trainer. Another guy that Al and I made a lot of money on. I feel he had a great race. His last race, he actually lost to Essential Quality, but he gave Essential Quality all he could handle. I mean, it was a great race, and this horse shows a lot of promise. I'm a little nervous about this horse, and I think for the price, 15-1, I think it's a good deal.
Okay, we're going to go with super stock now. Ross, you got to start it.
20-1. I love Steve Asmussen. He's great. He looked great in the Arkansas Derby. I just think this horse is outclassed. I'm throwing it out.
I agree. I think he's outclassed. Showed a great race in the Arkansas Derby, won by a couple of lengths. But even with that win, the buyer wasn't quite high enough to match some of the other top contenders that you're going to get in the race at a decent price. So he's a hard pass.
All right, Al. Soup and sandwich.
Soup
What do you
and
say?
sandwich. Yes. Okay. Florida Derby, Grade 1 stakes winner at Gulfstream Park. No, actually came in second. But again, I'm not sure of the quality that I'm not sure that was that strong a field at Gulfstream that day. I'm looking at the buyers, and they're in the low 90s. So I don't like this post on the horse. He's going to have to really work to get to the front from the outside with a few speed horses inside of him. I just don't think he's going to have enough at the wire.
Can you imagine looking on they have a whole wall of all the winners of the Kentucky Derby. You see Secretariat, you see Affirmed, you see Gato de Sol, you see Justify, then you see the name Soup and Sandwich. It's not going to happen. Throw the horse out.
Okay, well, maybe Bourbon is more to your liking, Ross. Let's start with Bourbonic. You get started.
You know, this horse, it's the 20. It has the 20 spot, which is very hard for a horse to win. You know, you're losing a lot of ground before the race starts, basically. And he looked 3 out of 4 races. He looked great. He's adding ever since he had the blinkers. He hasn't lost. The blinkers is the whole thing with this horse. I like the horse. I just hate the post. I got to throw it out.
Yeah, weird horse. You know, you never see it too often that once a horse goes on Lasix, then comes off it. But he had a couple of races with Lasix. Then they took it off for his last race in the Wood Memorial. He won the race, but really coming from far behind, 20 posts. I just don't see it happening for him.
All right, guys, it is time. It's time for you to make your picks. And Ross, I'm going to let you go first or defer.
I'll go first. I'm pretending I have $200 to spend, and this is my bets. But maybe I have more money. I'll just tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing a $5 exacta box. It can be any type of money. I'm just saying $5. I'm doing an exacta box with 3 horses: Essential Quality, Rock Your World, and Bezos. Those 3, so they can finish first or second in any order. It has to be one of those 3 horses. And I'm doing a long shot exacta box with Hot Rod Charlie, Rock Your World, and Brooklyn Strong. I do like Brooklyn Strong as maybe a possible huge upset in this race. And then I'm betting $50 across, let's say. Who knows? Maybe amount on Rock Your World. I think Rock Your World for the price is the best deal in this Derby. I'm not going to take the favorite in this. And if I was gonna make a wheel bet is when you can take all the whole field on top, let's say, or going second or whatever. So I'm taking all on top, and second, I'm taking Essential Quality, saying a big long shot, why not, will come in first, and Essential Quality will come in second, then you win a lot of money. So I kind of like that bet too. I've done that in the past in the Derby, and it's done me really well. So that's what I'm thinking.
My pick is going to be Hot Rod Charlie. I'm going to do a trifecta key on top with Hot Rod Charlie, put 3 horses underneath him. I'm going to go with Rock Your World, Essential, and Bezos underneath him, 3 horses underneath him. I'm also going to do an exacta, Hot Rod Charlie all, and I'm going to bet across the board. Hot Rod Charlie, man. I'm a Hot Rod Charlie guy.
West Coast.
All right, guys, you did a great job. We're going to see how it turns out. The most exciting 2 minutes in sports. We're going to see what happens. It's coming up soon, and we are glad we got to preview it for you here on MFSN. Thanks for joining us, Al Martin, and as always, Ross the Boss.